Seawolves, and welcome to, finally, we have the time to do a regular sit together with a toast proper and everything after traveling for 3 days and 2 finishes, 1 finishing every day it seems all of a sudden, and of course later today around 7 UTC probably we have the finish of Sebastian also, so we'll be there for that, but finally we have time for a little bit more prepared show. So that's nice and really funny. I have to start us off a really cool toast I think for you guys, because little story. So yesterday during the end of the Finnish live stream of Yoann, by the way, none of the sound problems, that was all the race. I had nothing to do with that. That was just baked into the screen. Nothing we could do about that. It was unfortunate. Many sound problems, but I digress. So many of you will have noticed that during the end of the live stream when Yoann was, answering questions like way past when he already docked the boat in Les Sables and everything, I actually had to run out to do something else. So I actually wasn't on the live stream, which is why it went long and etc, etc, etc. And so several people were emailing me like, what happened? And so I can actually show you what happened, because you have to realize, for me the finish is also kind of a big moment, because literally for 2.5 months or so, I've been, here every day pretty much. Few days separate, but I think I was for like 4 days gone or something. For the rest, I've been here every day for the entire time of the race, doing this show, which is like 4 or 5 hours a day, watching through all the videos, writing it, editing, all the other things that need to be done. It's definitely not the hardest job I've ever done in my, but it's like, it takes a lot of time. And for me, I'm really an outside person, right? I'm a sailor, I'm somebody who likes to, run in parks and things like that. So I'm always very outside. So for me, it's very much, has been a few months of being inside a lot. And so yesterday during the finish, I was in this beautiful place, which is part of my work for the art that I do. And so I'm like opening the window, because it was like 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning when Yoann was finishing, of course, right around sunrise time. And there's just fog around, so thick you can cut it with a knife. And I had the drone with me because I was, as I told you, a bit experimenting with that and like learning to shoot better video with it. So I decided, even though it was kind of the end of the live stream, like that will take care of itself, it's all good. I got around outside here, take opportunity, because, finding beautiful things, literally, if you ever had an email of mine, or if I reply to you, like literally my job title, it says, finder of beautiful things, that's what I do, it's who I am really, it's like, everybody has a talent, that's my particular talent, I think. And so yesterday for me, after the finish of Yoann, was also a little bit of me for, the moment to just go outside again. And so that is actually, I can take you with you guys with me in the moment that it was a little bit also my freeing from all this obligation of being here every day. So enjoy it one more time with me. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Cheers, Wolves. Hello, Seawolves. So let's see if this actually works. I want to show you a super cool place, Chateau St. Gerlof. One of the places that I work with for my art, and I'm just taking a nice morning stroll and trying out the sound here. Let's see if it works. Is there sound now? Should be working. Just walking through the gardens here. A lot of sculptures around. So far this is tracking excellently. So I'm gonna take you guys on my favorite walk here through the area. Come on, bro, we're gonna go this direction. Let's see if it works. Oh wow, yeah, it actually works. Yeah, we're gonna go this way, come on. Yeah. Wow, that actually works. That's amazing. Foggy out. Very beautiful. Yeah, so that's Chateau Saint-Gerlach in the south of Holland. Beautiful place in the hills. I'll put a link below to more info. If you ever want to spend like a nice weekend, beautiful nature, make beautiful wine and other things there. It's just this whole, yeah, it's like a little small Louvre out there in the wild. It's very nice, it's very nice. Hey, let's get to the race because some very interesting things have happened. One of the most crazy, maybe exciting things is that, so 2 days ago or something, I was joking that maybe, you know, Conrad could actually overcome Jean, and all of you were basically saying like, hell will freeze over before that happens. And today, as if nothing could prove my point, I look at the tracker and I see that actually Conrad right now in position 21 and Jean Lecamme in position 22. So don't tell me that to every rule there is not an exception, because wow, so nice. What a cool illustration, right? So Jean really got stuck here in that little windless pocket there off the coast, while Jean took the more inland, or well, towards the continent route. And yeah, it's not set like when the restart will be, so from here it can go in a lot of different directions. But pretty cool fact though, that from that enormous way back, Conrad actually at this current time is 1 spot higher in the ranking than Jean. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy, because this is the coolest possible duel. Like, who wants to see a sailing duel between Conrad and Jean Lecamme? I think I'm up for that, right? I'm in for that, so I'm looking forward to it. But let's get to the main points of the news before we go further into all the tactical analysis stuff. So one of the reasons, of course, that Jean fell back, I'm sure you've also seen, is that Jean broke his J2 stay. Here's a picture of it. So that's also, even though he is in very light weather, so it's a bit strange to me also to see. And I'm a bit confused, because what they showed a picture of is actually the torsion cable, which is kind of doubles as the stay in the case of the J2. But he must have had then his other sails up to keep the mast there. Otherwise he could have maybe lost the mast if it just like clean broke. So I'm very curious what happened there exactly. But in true Jean fashion, he was able to report it and is reportedly back on the regular sail again, as far as I know, without any new significant limitations. So I guess he just fixed the torsion cable somehow, was able to get the sail back up, and is running again now. So that's good to know. But, you know, some major almost problems there, because had he lost the J2 maybe in another way, could have lost the mast also. Brand new boat, again the J2 involved. So yeah, it is kind of noticeable that we're having a lot more, instead of the J2, let's call it just the carrying mainstay, the forestay, because that's essentially what it is. It is interesting to see so many, also of the newer boats, the rebuilt boats, having problems with the J2 stay. Somebody asked me earlier, like, do you think that this might also have been what happened with Pip? I'm not sure, the technical analysis, I haven't come back with like exactly what the problem was there. It's also hard to say when you're not there to actually see it happen. Could be that it also was a contributor factor, or one of the main reasons there. I don't know what was the initiator of that event. But we've seen a lot of problems with the forestay, and of course they have several, so they have 3 of them. But with the forestay, that is actually the main carrier of the mast. So yeah, that's definitely interesting, and we know that there's going to be a new mast. So there's a new One Design mast for the next edition that's going to be introduced into the fleet really after this particular Vendeeglobe. This is the last one that they do with this mast, and from then on they're going to transition into this new mast design, which is redesigned to better equip with the loads of the more advanced boats now. So it's definitely a factor that the boat's technology has kind of run forward while the mast has remained the same. It's the same mast as previous edition also. So that explains to some degree why things are breaking. And even though it's not so much the mast, we only lost one mast that broke in half with Pip. It was a new mast also, by the way, newish, let's say. So we haven't really seen that many mast problems in that sense. But when a lot of things are new, the weakest link will be revealed. And I guess it definitely shows that this J2 stay system, whether it's the hook, the stay itself now with Jean, sails, it's very clear that some of the increased forces are definitely finding their way and are creating breakages around that J2 stay. So that is definitely something that all of the teams in the future for future editions are going to be looking at, because it's obviously a big weak point at the moment. So that definitely is not going unnoticed, and it also definitely wasn't calculated in, right? This is again something that has revealed itself during the race. So that's kind of interesting to know. Then other J-related issues, because Violette of course lost her J3. Stay had problems with the sail, had to climb the mast to get everything fixed again also, and did that. Yeah, made a very stylish video about it. So here's Violette.
Wouhou! Ça y est, j'ai réussi à récupérer la pièce, je suis en haut du mât, ça bouge pas mal. Regardez ça. 28 mètres de hauteur, c'est un truc de fou. La mer est magnifique, c'est à la fois effrayant et à la fois trop beau. Mais je vais vite redescendre. Allez. Écoute, c'était cette pièce qui s'était cassée. Donc je suis allée la chercher en tête de mât à la drisse tout en haut qui va moins servir. Et je l'ai réinstallée là. Donc j'ai refait le loop. Je fais plein de nœuds parce que j'avais un peu trop de gouttes. Puis plus que pas assez. Donc voilà. Et maintenant je vais pouvoir redescendre.
Cool. That's actually her first update in, like a panoramic view, let's say, that I could really use, because she's one of those Gen Zers who just only does the phone footage, which is like a tiny little, doesn't really fit for this particular show, unfortunately. So glad that she finally made an exception there and made the big panoramic shots, and yeah, so cool to see her up the mast there. Then we have a nice onboard update in English from our favorite Italian, Giancarlo Padotte. Here we go.
Hello everybody. So right now we are sailing north for go to the equator and cut it, and in our left side we have Brazil here in the west, and we are trying to go as fast as we can into the north for cut the stationary cold front that give in our zone very wind, the wind with light condition. So then we will catch the wind from the HP high pressure of Santa Helena, and we hope that with this wind that we can go to cut the equator. So right now is very hot on board, pretty 32 degrees. So in a sailboat we have extremely cold and extremely hot. We don't have a lot of time with a medium temperature. So in any case, everything is okay on board of Prismian. We are happy, and thank you very much to follow me.
And finally, Conrad Coleman, after also overtaking Jean, we already talked about that, but he also gave a master class in Imaka ropes. So here we go.
There sure are a lot of ropes on this boat. All of them come from Marlow, which is a super cool company that makes great ropes out of the UK. And I will explain to you how they work and what they are. So, as we look out this way, you can see, first of all, a 3-to-1 purchase for the backstays. So they go up there, and then they are pulled forwards by this rope that keeps them both away from the mainsail, so they're not chafing, and also stops them getting tangled when I take reefs. And then if we start here on the port side, you can chase the spinnaker sheet going up this way. So we're currently sailing with the A3 Jenica, and this is its sheet, and look at that. It is operating at 2.5 tons of tension on one little rope that is smaller, a lot smaller than even my little pinky finger. So that's just incredible. And then here we have the code 0 sheet, and here we have the main sheet, and so they go into this bank of XX power clutches from Spinlock, and these are absolutely fantastic. And the fact that they can hold the full working load of these sails, 2.5 tons, means that I get to do peeling and complicated maneuvers. This next bank here of the ZR clutches, they control all of the lines going forward for the 3D. So that ring up there with the J3 on it allows me to control the shape of all the foresails. So that's what's going on there. And then I've got 2 jib sheets, and so here we've got the J2 and the J3 coming up onto this winch. So when I'm using a staysail, then the small one goes on the back winch there, and then the primary winch that has the A3 on it, and then these are all tidied away here. With so many kilometers of rope, you have to be super anal about tidying up all the time. And then now we come up here into the potentially quite intimidating part of the boat. This is called the piano, and this is made with a different kind of technology. We've got this big block of aluminium that was custom made for this boat, and all set up with these textile blockers, and I use these purely because just look at the density here. You know, it is absolutely unbeatable to get so many ropes in such a small area, and to be able to control them with these little pull lines. And so this is actually a system that was invented by a friend of mine, Julian, and these textile blockers have revolutionized the way that we build these boats and the way that we operate them. So to give you an idea about how they work, is that you can pull to release, and then with that little knot there, then you can block them off. So that's now in its open position, that's now in its closed. There's some elastic that pulls them forward here. And to give you an idea, there are, I think I counted this correctly, 34 ropes that come into here, plus then of course the trip lines. So these are the remote controls for the other Spinlock ZS blockers further forward on the boat. So we've got 2 bowsprit blockers, and then one for the J3, one for the J4. These ones here control constrictors in the boom, so these are my reef lines controls. And then if we go from left to right, or port to starboard, we've got the control for the mainsail hook here, and then we've got the mast rotation, the lazy bag, the daggerboard up. This one's broken, but I need to, anyway, that's a Cunningham. Here we've got daggerboard down. Here we've got the tack lines. So we've got the 2 bowsprit tack lines, and then everything is color coded. You see pink and yellow here. You see pink and yellow up here. So those are the J3 and the J4. And this is the mainsail down, because when I take a reef using these lines, these are all color coded. Green is 1, yellow is 2, red is 3. So that means it's getting hotter as you take them. You need to pull down the mainsail physically because it doesn't come down with gravity because there's so much friction. And then reef lines, and then we're into the halyards, and so we're into, of course, color coded again. So pink is J4, J3, J0, fractional, main sheet. That's on a hook, so there's no tension on it at the moment. And then masthead. And then here in the middle, we control the lines for the shape of the mainsail. So we've got the Vang and then the Cunningham. And then we're into the furling lines. And so again, color coded 4, 3, 2, 0 masthead. And then we go to the other side. And we're into the daggerboard down, daggerboard up, mast rotation, and lazy bag. Again. Now these lines, of course, they're super long, and the masthead halyard is more than 70 meters long, and so they all go here. The main halyard is down there, and then the furling lines go on this side, and they're all super tidy on that side. And then we come up onto the starboard side, and lines nicely tidied away. Main sheet there, lazy sheet for the A3, J3, J2. Back into our Spinlock banks here with the high load and the low load ones, and then onto the The backstay, so these are runners. There's no fixed backstay on these boats, and so lots and lots of tension in there. Basically 2 tons in that rope. You can see it's super tight, and that multiplied by the 3-to-1 purchase going up there means that we get to hold the mast up. So that is a tour of the cockpit. This being a solo sailing boat, everything comes back to the cockpit, and that makes it super easy for me to maneuver the boat by myself. Otherwise it would be completely impossible. And then as you've seen, I've got some incredible partners in Spinlock and Marlow that allow me to operate this boat. But one thing that is super cool about these ropes made by Marlow is that the color part, the polyester, is recycled from ocean plastic. So that is plastic that has been fished out of the sea, melted down, and then turned into other products. So that is super cool. That's their blue line. And then the black, that is a Technora, so an aramid, similar to Kevlar, in the same family, and that is super abrasion resistant. And so that's a mix there that is super abrasion resistant. And actually, there's one rope on this boat that has a purely polyester cover, and that's the one that is broken. We do really need these mixed covers with Kevlar or aramid or Vectran that allow it to withstand the super high loads that are generated on this boat. And then certainly when you ease them under load, it's quite dramatic because there's so much friction and so much load that the ropes actually smoke and can sometimes burn themselves, even with just a couple of centimeters of movement, because the friction is so high. One thing that's unique about Marlow as well with their ropes is the construction of all ropes, but is in 2 parts. There's this cover here. I'll put that in the bin, and then there's the core. And so the core is Dyneema, and that's this incredible material that allows us to carry these super high loads, and that is actually bio-sourced, so it's made out of beans. So the oil that makes the plastic is derived from a vegetable source, and that's one of the ways that we reduce the carbon and energy footprint of this boat, is by obviously using the material and these ropes for as long as we possibly can. And so great durability helps with that. But then of course using recycled plastics where we can, using bio-sourced resins and plastics where we can, and yeah, it's astonishing. So welcome to my life. Lots of ropes.
So, we have learned a lot of interesting things again here during the episode. Thank you for that, Conrad. Now, into the technical analysis. So, let's start with Sebastian Simon on his way. He's set to finish around 7 UTC tonight. So, we'll be there, of course, again with the live finishing. No worries there. And I had a lot of questions about that during the live stream, so I'll zoom in for you. So, a lot of people are getting confused about this kind of very big gate here and the small gate, but the actual finish is the really small one here in front of Les Sables. So don't get confused by that, because a lot of people on the live stream were like, hey, he's across the finish line, thinking that that's this big line, which is very logical to think, but it's the small line there. So anyway, he's doing very well at